We will start Season 2 of Shangri-La Frontier from today, and you will get the link of Season 1 episodes in the description. So let's start Episode 1. In today's time, most of the virtual reality games are played, and the game that is the most popular at the moment, there are 3 crore users in it, and the name of that game is Shangri-La Frontier. And right now, Sunraku is looking for a magic operation unit with Amul Black and Aramis. With the help of Amul Black and Aramis, then these people reach a new area, and Black and Aramis come out of that bedsheet which Sunraku had covered to hide Black and Aramis. And then Sunraku also removes that bedsheet, and Amul asks Sunraku, "Can I also come in my real form?" Sunraku says yes, of course, because there is no one around. And then these people enter an area called Ruins of Past Glories, and Sunraku looks at this place and says, "I think this thing must have been made during the time of divinity, but why did they make such a big thing? And I don't know how this culture ended." And it seems that after meeting the professor, my mind is running more. Then we see a flashback in which the professor, who is the leader of the Lore clan, requests Sunraku to join the search for the truth of this world. Sunraku thinks the professor is right, because it is almost impossible to find out all the scenarios of Shangri-La Frontier alone, and especially those scenarios in which we know about the 7 Colossi. And then Sunraku accepts the professor's friend request. "Can I understand the meaning of this?" And the professor says, "Are you ready to join us?" Sunraku says, "Yes, but now I have to do something else. But if you want to know about Weathermont, then there is someone who knows more about him than me, and his name is Pencil Gun." As soon as the professor hears the name of Pencil Gun, he thinks, Pencil Gun, the giant killer. And I have heard about it that it was talking to the Schwarzwolf clan. And then the professor says, "Okay, Sunraku, we'll meet again." And the professor leaves from there. And now, in the present, Sunraku says, "I am sure that the professor left after hearing the name of Pencil Gun. And now I can enjoy this game very well. And I want to use the items in the inventory as soon as possible." Then Black says, "That professor had almost found out about us." Sunraku says, "I am sure that the professor had an idea that I am hiding something." Hearing this, Aramis and Black are surprised. Sunraku says, "Professor is the leader of the lower clan, and he is not a stupid man. And I think he didn't want to be too hard on me in the first meeting. And anyway, it doesn't matter to everyone, because we have reached the area where we wanted to reach. And now we have to find the magic operation unit." Then Black tells Sunraku that here they have to keep an eye on those golems all the time, which never end. Suddenly the golem lands on their side from above, and Black says, "This place is full of these golems, and these are the golems of the time of divinity." And then that golem fires at Sunraku, but Sunraku dodges his attack very easily and says, "Looks like you have power, but you have no speed at all." And then Sunraku runs ahead to attack the golem, but suddenly Aramis comes ahead of Sunraku and does a very powerful attack on the golem, and with just one attack, the golem breaks into pieces and dies. And then Sunraku, looking for the drop items, says, "Did you burn the drop items with your attack?" Aramis says, "Looks like I used a little too much power." Then Black hits him on the head and says, "Fool, you didn't have to use a dragon killer attack to kill such a weak golem." Aramis says, "My dear Sundari, just don't hit me on the head, please." Sunraku says, "I understand that Aramis is very strong, but these golems don't seem like a big threat to me." Black says, "All golems are not the same, and the golems that are really dangerous, they are born from local elements." And then a stone-like golem comes to Sunraku while roaming, and sticks to his feet, and as soon as Sunraku sees him, he is about to explode, but Black hits him with his hammer and blows him away, and it's a big blast. Then Amul says, "Look at Sunraku there," and then he sees that a lot of small golems are coming out of a very big golem. And then those little golems surround him and come to him and start exploding, and these people start running away from him. And Sunraku says, "There is no point in fighting these little golems, and we will have to destroy the main body from which the golems are coming out." And Amul and Aramis are also killing the golems, but all the golems are going towards Amul and Aramis. And Sunraku says, "It seems that because of Aramis's high level and Amul's magic, they are thinking of them as a big threat, and taking advantage of this, we can kill that big golem." And then Sunraku puts Black on top of him, escapes from the small golems and reaches the big golem. But before they attack, that big golem jumps and sticks to a pillar. Then Aramis attacks from a long distance and breaks that pillar from the middle on which that golem is stuck. And from the falling pillar, that big golem jumps very high. And Black says to Sunraku, "This could be a good time to use that weapon." And Sunraku then pulls out another sword. And he got this sword by fighting an enemy. And this sword was already in a lot of war, but Black polished it and brought it in a good condition. And Sunraku reaches reaches the place where the golem is about to land, and Sunraku hits the golem from the middle, by which the golem breaks a little, and the golem's core is seen a little, and Black then attacks his core with her hammer and flies it in the air, and Sunraku sees that a big blast is about to happen, and Sunraku quickly starts running backwards, and then the golem explodes, and there is a very big blast, but somehow these people escape that blast, and then they see that drop items are falling from above, and then Sunraku starts reading the details of this drop item, and he is a little surprised to see that this drop item is a grenade. Then in the next scene, Sunraku kills another golem, and the drop items that Sunraku gets from this golem. Some particular type of monsters are attracted to them, but it is not written in the information that what type of monsters will be attracted to them. And on seeing the opportunity, Aramis puts her hand on Black's shoulder and says, "I am happy that you have nothing, my beauty." Black says in anger, hammering Aramis, "Keep your hands away from me." Aramis says, "Please don't hit my jaw." And then these people start moving forward. And Black tells Sunraku that we have defeated all the golems around. And do you really think that the workshop in which the magic operation unit is will be around us? Sunraku says, "I can't say for sure, but that place belongs to the time of divinity. So it is possible that it is a factory. And as far as it will be a very important place. And security will be the most at that place, which means golems will also be the most." Aramis says, "I understood. And that's why you were looking for the place where you got the most golems. And then these people reach a place." And Sunraku says, "I am sure that the place where it will be easiest to protect from the outside danger, that place will be underground." And then they all look at this underground place, and looking down from it, they don't see any difference. But these four don't know that they are seeing Pencil Gun and Oikardzo from a long distance. And Pencil Gun says to Oikardzo, "What did this pigeon brain think that it will ignore my mail and run away like this?" Oikardzo says, "So what should we do now?" Pencil Gun says, "So why don't we kill it once?" Oikardzo says, "It's a very good idea." Now these four are watching in this underground place, for which they do not see any end. Then Black picks up a piece of iron and throws it in that underground place, and these four listen and wait that when they will hear the sound of that iron falling, and then after a long time, they hear the sound of it falling. Amel says that this is a very deep place. Sunraku says that now we don't know what to do. Then a voice comes from behind that I have a rope, and Sunraku is happy to hear this, and says that this will do the job, and as soon as Sunraku turns around, he sees that Pencil Gun and Oikardzo are standing behind him. Sunraku starts running away with him, but Oikardzo catches Sunraku with the rope, and then Pencil Gun and Oikardzo start Sunraku's class. Pencil Gun says that running away with us is clear that you read our mails, but you ignored them. Sunraku asks, "How did you find me?" Pencil Gun says that you put the material mixed with Crystal Scorpion in the inventory, and you know that Crystal Scorpion is only found in Crystal Cliff Nest. Sunraku thinks that I forgot that the three of us share the inventory. Then Oikardzo says, "And after that, we got the idea that you will come here." Black asks, "Who are these people?" Amul says that these two are Sunraku's friends. Oikardzo says that who are this black rabbit and this cat? Sunraku says that they are from Unique Scenario, and you can only dream about it, Oikardzo. And these are Blacksmith Black, and this is Swordmaster Aramis. But after hearing the taunt of Unique Scenario, Oikardzo's mind is a little confused, and he says that why only me? I don't get any Unique Scenario. Then Sunraku says that I need your help because I need an item to repair non-standard ether reactor, and the name of that item is Magic Operation Unit, and I think that Magic Operation Unit will be in this underground place. And then Sunraku and Pencil Gun tell Oikardzo to go down, and then Oikardzo ties his ropes and starts going down, and then after a long time, Oikardzo reaches down and shouts at everyone from below, "There is no danger here, you can all come down," and then everyone else also comes down. Then Sunraku says that there is a gate behind it, and it seems that this golem is the gatekeeper of that gate. Black gets a little worried and says that will we be able to handle it? Aramis says moving forward, "Don't worry my dear Sundari, because no enemy can compete with my sword." And then Aramis does a very powerful attack on that golem, but that golem makes a shield from his hand and stops his attack. Seeing this, Black says that this golem is on a different level from all the other golems. Then Pencil Gun says that this is not such a big problem, because that sword has come back together, which has defeated Weathermon. Then Oikardzo says that this is the first time after the Wolfgang clan, when we have come together. If you don't remember, then let me tell you, that these three made a clan called Wolfgang. And then Sunraku runs ahead and does a special attack with his Moonblade, with which the attack from the front is attacked from behind. And with the attack of Sunraku, this golem gets damaged. And then Sunraku uses the skill of running on the wall, and comes behind this golem. Then suddenly Black and Oikardzo attack this golem at the same time, but this golem takes out a shield from both his hands and blocks their attack, and golem attacks Sunraku from behind with a laser. Then Oikardzo and Black move back and attack the golem from the side, with which he is suppressed at one place and can't move, and taking advantage of the golem's weakness, Aramis and Amul do a combined attack on him, and with this attack, there is a crack in the golem's chest, after which Pencil Gun throws his spear in the same crack, with which the golem gets damaged a lot and falls on the ground, and then Sunraku, Black, and Oikardzo beat the golem, with which he dies. And then after a while, Pencil Gun and Sunraku are talking, and Pencil Gun tells Sunraku, there are only 5 hero weapons in Shangri-La Frontier, and this spear of mine is one of those 5 weapons, and because I have this spear, the hero's job has been unlocked for me, and to get it, I have worked hard day and night. Then Sunraku tells Oikardzo, you said that you have a skill with which you can open this gate. Oikardzo, who has been trying to open this gate for a long time, says that my skill is only at the first level, and because of this, the success rate of my skill is very low. And then Oikardzo uses his skill and tries to open the gate, but he gets an electric shock and he falls on the ground. And then Sunraku says, I thought that by killing that golem we will get a key, with which we will be able to open this gate. But when Oikardzo tries again, the gate opens, and then Oikardzo says, taunting Sunraku, this tells us how much difference is the skill between the two of us, Sunraku. Sunraku says, that man is talking big, who has never unlocked any unique scenario, and listening to the taunt of the unique scenario, Oikardzo's mind goes crazy, and he starts strangling Sunraku, and after opening the gate, all of them see a very big laboratory inside. Then Pencil Gun says, looking at this laboratory, it is clear that we are going to get a lot of items in it. Then Sunraku says, okay, we will share all the items, and I am sure that the magic operation unit will also be inside this laboratory. And then everyone starts looking for items in the laboratory. Then when Sunraku presses a button at one place, a hologram of a monster is formed, looking at which Sunraku says, did these monsters attack this place? And that is a sign of an Omega, and this is usually found on a secret weapon or a boss monster. And Oikardzo and Pencil Gun are listening to all the talks of Sunraku very carefully. Then, after searching the magic operation unit for a long time, Oikardzo says to Black, do you know what that thing looks like? Black says, the size of the magic operation unit will be about this big, and on the other side near Sunraku, Amul has brought something on his head and says, Sunraku, doesn't it look cool? Sunraku lifts Amul in his lap and says, Amul, throw this thing somewhere. Okay. Then when Sunraku is rotating Amul in his lap, then Black is shocked to see him and says, Amul, the thing on your head is the magic operation unit. And then Sunraku says, Black, we don't have time to waste, and we should go to Rabbit Zoo quickly. Suddenly, Pencil Gun and Oikardzo catch Sunraku and says, Sunraku, we know very well that you will run away when the opportunity comes. Then going back to the next scene, Oikardzo has tied Sunraku with a rope so that Sunraku doesn't run away. Sunraku says, now a lot of people want to meet me. Then Oikardzo says, since everyone has come to know about us, that we have defeated Weathermon. Since then, we have had to endure a lot, and once strange people surrounded me, who are interested in your rabbit, and they want to meet you, and it was really scary. Then Pencil Gun says, and the leader of the Schwarzwolf clan and the attack master had called me to talk. Then Sunraku says, I have this magic operation unit event, which I have to go to complete. And Oikardzo asks Black, do you need Sunraku for this? Black says, no, I will take care of the rest myself. Hearing this, Pencil Gun says, why don't we give the magic operation unit to Black Rabbit? And for now, we all go to Eightfold City. Sunraku says, now I can't escape. Then, in the next scene, these people have reached Eightfold City, and looking at Sunraku's clothes, Pencil Gun says, Sunraku, do you always wear such clothes? Sunraku says, what else can I do? Because this is the best way to hide these two. And what I am wearing, this is a headgear. That's why I can wear it despite the mark of LegoCon. Oikardzo says, I thought you roam half naked because you like it. Sunraku says, it's not like that at all. And I also want to try a lot of gears. But despite having so much freedom in this game, I am playing like a handicap. And then Black and Aramis take the magic operation unit and go to Rabbit Zoa, but Amul doesn't doesn't go. Then Sunraku says to Amul, "If you ask me, I wanted you to go to Rabidzoa." Amul says, "Do you want to leave me again?" Sunraku says, "I have no idea what trap these two have laid for me." Hearing this, Pencil Gun says, "Amul, we also have a role for you. That's why we want you to stay with us." Sunraku stops and asks, "What do you mean by role?" That's when Sunraku sees that Animalia is standing in front of him with her clan, and she runs towards them screaming, "Amul." Seeing this, Sunraku and Amul are in a bad condition. Now Animalia and her group are running towards Sunraku and Imul like crazy. Sunraku tries to run away but gets caught by Pencil Gun and Oikatsu, and then seeing Animalia and her group coming towards him, Sunraku remembers that Animalia is only interested in Imul, and Sunraku says their target is Imul, not me. And then Sunraku throws Imul towards them, and they start fighting each other to catch Imul. Imul shouts, "Sunraku, how can you deceive me?" Sunraku says, "Don't hate me, Imul, because sometimes it is necessary to sacrifice." Then Pencil Gun says, "It is very difficult to calm down Animalia without Imul." Sunraku asks, "Why have you called them here?" Then Saiger 100, the leader of the Shortswool clan, comes there with Saiger 0. Then Saiger 100 says, "Sunraku, I wanted to talk to you for a long time, and I am Saiger 100, the leader of the Shortswool clan, and this is Saiger 0. And then Saiger 0, whose real name in the world is Rei Saiga, has a crush on Rakuro Hizutomi, and Rakuro Hizutomi is Sunraku in the game. And looking at Sunraku, Saiger 0 thinks Sunraku looks more powerful and cool than before. Then Pencil Gun looks at Saiger 100 and says, I think you have reduced their size." Saiger 100 says, "Whenever you meet, you tell me the same thing." Listening to them, Sunraku thinks, are they friends in real life? Then the professor comes there and says, "I didn't think you would contact me." Then Sunraku says, "Pencil Gun, what is going on here?" Pencil Gun says, "We didn't come here to stand. That's why I have booked a place nearby." The scene shifts again, and now all these people are meeting in a hotel room. Sunraku says, "I understand that you want me to answer all your questions at once." Pencil Gun says, "It's good for you to answer, because if you don't do that, they'll keep following you. And do you want that?" Sunraku says, "Okay." Then Saiger 100 says, "I'll get straight to the point, and our clan needs information about a unique monster, and that is Ligercon the Night Slayer. And in return, we'll tell you a way you can get rid of your Ligercon mark." Listening to this, Sunraku thinks, if Ligercon's mark is removed, then I can wear a lot of good gear on my body. Then Saiger 0 says, "Our clan's goal is to defeat Ligercon the Night Slayer, but it's a very sad thing that we haven't fought him properly yet. Although we have had a chance to fight him once or twice, but Ligercon the Night Slayer killed us before taking any important information." And now Sunraku is thinking, how much information should I give him? And the unique scenario I'm doing, no one in the entire SLF is doing it. And if SFZUO clan finds out about those rabbits, then my peaceful days will be over. And I can't take my eyes off Oikazo and Pencil Gun, because they know about Black and Aramis. And then Sunraku says, if you think you can just fight straight and defeat the unique monster, then it won't happen. For example, when we fought with Weatherman the Tomb Guard, before that, we had to complete a unique scenario and reach there. Then Pencil Gun says, Ligercon the Night Slayer comes in front of anyone at any time, although you will have to do some or the other scenario before defeating him so that he can lose. Saiger 100 says, as far as all these scenarios are in the new continent, which has come after the update. Pencil Gun says, I don't agree with you, and I think that two unique monsters, about whom no one has found out yet, they will only be connected to the new continent. Then the professor says to Saiger 100, I remembered from the new continent, and I hope that my wife is not bothering you. Saiger 100 says, no, there is no problem, and Miss Dynamite is very interested to go to the new continent. Then the professor tells everyone about the unique monsters, which are also called the Seven Colossi. First of all, Ligercon the Night Slayer, and he is a black wolf, and he comes in front of anyone at any time, and there is a rumor about him that he is a female. And on the second number, there is a Catternet of the Abyss, and he lives in the water, and no player has seen him yet, and we have only got this information from the NPC. On the third number, Sigvum the Sky Ruler, and he also comes in front of anyone like Ligercon, but due to his flying at a very high altitude, no player has fought him. And on the fourth is the Orchestra of the Doom Echo, and a player had received information about it in a book when that player attacked the Royal Library of Anworth, and there is information about the Orchestra of Doom, that by controlling nature, it can attack with tsunami, fire, and lightning. And on the fifth number is Veathermon the Tomb Guard, which has been defeated by Tsunraku and his friends. And we have only this much information about this unique monster. Then Pencil Gun says, I have an item for you, the Tomb of Truth, the Tomb Guard, and there are many many useful secrets of Vetherman written in it, and do you want it? And then Pencil Gun asks for money in return for this book, and the professor is also ready to pay. Then Saiger 100 says, Tsunraku, as you can see, that we also need information, and you are alone. Who has information about the Lycaon the Night Slayer? Tsunraku says, I also don't know much about the Lycaon the Night Slayer. Saiger 100 says, tell us as much as you know, and if we also know its basic attack pattern, then that will also be very useful information. Then Tsunraku tells, first of all, its physical attacks, which are very fast, but you can parry them, and Lycaon only punches from 3 directions. But the most dangerous thing is its jaw, because if it bites you once, then it will kill you in one go. Then Saiger 100 says, I have heard that you have only fought the Lycaon once, and after fighting you once, you got so much information. Hearing this, Vicarzo and Pencil Gun start calling Tsunraku a freak, and Tsunraku then starts arguing with him. And Saiger 100 thinks, when I heard that he is roaming with Pencil Gun, then I was thinking, what kind of person would Tsunraku be? But there is something about Tsunraku which I can say by looking at it, that Tsunraku is going to trigger a lot of big things in the future. Then Saiger 100 asks Tsunraku for more information about Lycaon the Night Slayer, and Tsunraku tells, fighting Lycaon is like fighting a very big wolf. But there are some things about him that I didn't understand, like his last attack, which hit me because I didn't understand what he hit me with. Saiger 100 asks, do you think Lycaon has any special ability? Tsunraku says yes, and then thinks, I gave him information, and didn't tell him anything about Rabidzoa. Then Saiger 100 says, Tsunraku, Pencil Gun, and Vicarzo, your clan name is Wolfgang Clan, and do you want to make an alliance with our clan? Then Animalia says, Saiger 100, you keep your offer for a while, because it wasn't part of the original questions, and now it's my turn to ask questions. Then Saiger 100 says, I will have to talk to that person first, and after hearing this from Saiger 100, Tsunraku and Vicarzo feel a little weird, and Animalia says, our clan has only one question for you, and that is about Rabidzoa, and that place is the home of Warble Bunnies. Tsunraku is shocked to hear this, and thinks, I knew that Animalia would ask something like this, and I'm sure she wants to know Rabidzoa's unique scenario, Animalia. Then she says, the thing I want the most is a free pass of Rabidzoa, which is the home of rabbits, and everyone knows that we can go to Rabidzoa from a unique scenario, but when we kill the boss of that unique scenario, who is a python, then we are forced to leave there, and we can't go there again. But Tsunraku, you didn't just bring a Warble Bunny from Rabidzoa, but you keep going in and out of there, and I want to know how you do this, and in return for that, I will give you whatever you ask for. Tsunraku thinks I can't tell her that how I triggered Rabidzoa's invitation, and then Tsunraku says, what you want to know, that Amel can tell you. That's why I want you to give Amel back to me. And then Animalia gives Amel back, but Amel is still unconscious, and to wake Amel up, Tsunraku says that he will give Amel a treat, and as soon as he hears this, Amel's mouth starts watering, and she suddenly wakes up and starts asking for a treat. Then Tsunraku says, Amel, I want to ask you a question, that you keep calling people to kill Python, and that means that you don't have any problem with humans. Amel says, yes, I don't think so. Tsunraku says, so is there any way by which the people who have gone to Rabidzoa can go to Rabidzoa again? Amel says, this is a government issue, so I can't give a straight answer, but my brother Edward, he is very smart and very kind, so I think he will definitely help you. Tsunraku says, one more new rabbit. Then Amel says, he is my elder brother, and he is the king of Rabidzoa. Hearing this, Tsunraku thinks, so this means that Vizag does not rule over Rabidzoa, and he retired and gave the throne to his son. Then Tsunraku says, can I talk to your brother about this? Amul says, yes, absolutely, Tsunraku, and I will go right now and talk to him about this. And Amul runs away from there quickly, because Amul is afraid of Animalia. Then Tsunraku says to Animalia, we will talk about this after Amul comes. And then Pencil Gun says to everyone, I want Schwarzwolf, SFZOO Library, and our group Wolfgang to form an alliance. Pencil Gun has still given everyone the offer that all 4 clans should make a big alliance together. The leader of the SFZU clan, Animalia, the leader of the Library clan, Professor, and the leader of the Schwarzwolf clan, Sigerhanded, accept this offer. Then the scene shifts, and from here, apart from Pencil Gun, Oikadzo, and Tsunraku, everyone has left. Then Oikadzo says, it's good, the meeting is over. Tsunraku says, why are you acting as if you have done something, and you were just sitting quietly? Oikadzo says, says, do you even know how hard we worked to catch you? And I think you gave too much information about LegoCon. And as a pro gamer, I want to tell you that this game is not like those old games that you used to play on the screen. And in these virtual reality games, knowing the opponent's move is also a big advantage, and especially when it comes to unique monsters, because a unique monster is not a monster that every player gets a chance to fight, and you could have found a way to remove your LegoCon marks yourself. Hearing all this, Sunraku says, Oikazo, I think you are right. Then Pencil Gun says, apart from the Swordswolf clan, SFZO clan is also a big problem. And think about their actions. What will they do if they get the Rabbit Zoo ticket? Sunraku says, they will create a riot there. Then Pencil Gun says, whatever it is, my main purpose of this meeting has been fulfilled, and now we can use the facilities of those clans who are in the alliance with us. Sunraku says, I didn't think any one of them would say yes to the alliance. Pencil Gun says, if you look at it from the point of view of other clans, we have a lot of valuable information, and they are doing us a favor in return for that information. But we will slowly open our leaves, because in return for this information, we can control anyone. And think about it, 3 top clans are working for us, and now we have gone beyond a lot of die-hard gamers. And then after talking to these 3 for a while, they start going their own ways. But before going, Oikazo says to Sunraku, don't run away. When we call you next time, Sunraku says to Oikazo, okay. And then after the departure of Oikazo and Pencil Gun, Sunraku thinks Amul didn't come back to the end. And I also want to see how much Black has progressed. But to go to Rabidza, I will have to die, so that I can get back to my respawn point. Then Sunraku remembers about Crystal Scorpions, and Sunraku decides that he will collect drop items from Crystal Scorpions. Then in the next scene, Sunraku is running away from Crystal Scorpions, and the number of Crystal Scorpions is increasing continuously. And when Crystal Scorpions surround Sunraku from all sides and are about to attack him, that Sunraku teleports and reaches the inventory, and is very happy, because Sunraku feels that those Crystal Scorpions will collide with each other and break a lot, and will leave a lot of drop items. But when Sunraku comes out of the inventory, he sees that there is no drop item there, and Sunraku thinks, how can this happen? Because my timing was perfect. And what? They stopped before colliding with me. But their AI is not that smart. And what is going on here? Suddenly Sunraku is attacked from below, and he flies in the air, and Sunraku's HP becomes 0. And before dying, Sunraku thinks their behavior has changed completely from the last time, and feels that the game has been updated. Then after dying, Sunraku reaches his reach point, which is in Rabbit Zoo. But Sunraku's mood is very bad right now, because Sunraku died without taking any drop item, and Sunraku then logs out of the game in a little anger. Then after logging out, Hezutomi, who is Sunraku in the game, reads the game updates on the internet, and says, I got the trick to kill Crystal Scorpions, but now it won't work, and killing normal enemies won't help much. And then Sunraku's energy drink is about to fall, but Sunraku grabs the drink, and then Sunraku gets an idea in his mind, and Sunraku says, gravity. I can use gravity to kill them, but only gravity won't work. I have to see something else. And then Sunraku checks if he can get skills by leveling up, and seeing a skill, Sunraku says, I can defeat Crystal Scorpions with the help of this skill. Then in the next scene, Amul says, Sunraku, you came back. Sunraku says, Amul, you talked to your brother. And what did he say? Amul says, Big Brother Edwin has said that he will think about it, and he wants you to wait now. And yes, Big Sister Black has also called you. Sunraku says, so let's go to Black first. Then the scene shifts, and Black says, you guys came at the right time. Sunraku is a little surprised and says, so the magic operation unit is worn on the head. Then Black says, with the help of this, I will check your legacy weapon, and I will understand how the weapon of the time of divinity was made. Then Sunraku gives a legacy weapon to Black, which he got in the inventory. And seeing the legacy weapon, Black gets very excited, and Sunraku says, do whatever you want to do with this weapon, and I want to see you become an ancient craftsman as soon as possible. Then Black says, Sunraku, I have to request you something, because after becoming an ancient craftsman, I will be able to make new weapons. Then Sunraku says, can you make a legacy weapon? And the ancient craftsman can not only fix them, but can also make them. Black says, Sunraku, do you remember that you brought the material of the Crystal Scorpion? Because I need it to make a new legacy weapon, and I know how difficult it is to get it, but I'm not talking about making a normal weapon, and maybe I'm wrong. That's why I need a lot of material for the Crystal Scorpion. Then Black comes to his knees and bows his head and says, I beg you, and please take a risk for me. Looking at Black like this, Sunraku is also a little surprised, and then he says, Black, what are you talking about? And all you need is a Crystal Scorpion, because you will get that much material. And then Sunraku gives Black a little material of the Crystal Scorpion, which was lying with Sunraku for a long time. Looking at the material, Black becomes happy and asks, Sunraku, what do you want from them? And can I make a twin blade for you? Sunraku thinks, I already have a lot of twin blades, and says, "Not a twin blade for me, but make it." Black says, "Make it." Then, in the next scene, Sunraku reaches Pete's and gives him a doll, and looking at the doll, Pete gets very excited, and Pete says, "I will give you good money for it, and this is a very rare item." Sunraku is also surprised to hear this. "Is this a rare item?" Pete says, "I will give you 300,000 months for it, and if you bring another doll like this, which will look like 7 colossi, then I will give you even better money for it." Then after taking money from Pete's, Sunraku gives Emil a new spellbook, which makes Emil very happy, and says, "You gave me a new spellbook, and now I can do a lot of new magic, and I am very happy to ask you for a spellbook." Sunraku says, "If you want to thank, then do it for extra income, which we got today, and by having a spellbook with you, I will also benefit. And now the time has come to prepare to fight Crystal Scorpion, and for that, I will have to level up." Then in the next scene, Sunraku is running after him to catch a useless monster, but Emil uses his magic chain to catch the monster, and Sunraku kills him in one attack. Then Dalan comes behind them, and Sunraku says, "I was tired of killing these useless monsters, and I am happy that I found you." And then Sunraku and Dalan start fighting, and after fighting for a long time, Emil grabs him by the chain, and Sunraku does a powerful attack and cuts him in the middle, and as soon as Dalan has 2 pieces, he dies, after which Sunraku's level goes up, and because of the level up, Sunraku's many skills are unlocked, and old skills evolve, but now Sunraku is only interested in a skill called Skywalker. Then, in the next scene, they have come back to the city, and Emil says, "Are you going to leave me behind?" Sunraku says, "Now I will have to go alone on the next trip." Then before going to Rabidzoa, Emil asks, "Should I wait for you in Rabidzoa?" Sunraku says, "Number, and meet me here in the morning." Emil says, "Okay," and leaves. And then Sunraku goes back to the Crystal Scorpion and says, "I have no intention of dying from the Crystal Scorpion, because now I am completely ready." And Crystal Scorpions pray to God for the last time. Then after climbing up, Sunraku has come to the area of the Crystal Scorpion, and then Sunraku throws a stone, and with the sound of the stone, a Crystal Scorpion comes there. And then Sunraku starts running, and while running, he puts a lot of Crystal Scorpions behind him. And while running, Sunraku is thinking about gravity, because Sunraku has made a plan in which he will use gravity. And now there are a lot of Crystal Scorpions behind Sunraku, and Sunraku is running ahead with all his strength. And Sunraku thinks, "I can't fight them directly, and now they will kill themselves." And then Sunraku jumps over a pit, and Crystal Scorpions try to stop themselves, but they can't stop. And then a lot of Crystal Scorpions fall into the pit, and at this time, Sunraku is also falling into the pit along with the Crystal Scorpion. But when a scorpion attacks Sunraku in the air, Sunraku uses the Skywalker skill, and with the help of the Skywalker skill, Sunraku can jump twice in the air, and by jumping in the air, Sunraku is saved from the attack, and then he stabs the wall with a dagger and hangs on it. And he says, "The mission to kill a lot of Crystal Scorpions at once is successful." Then Sunraku climbs on the cliff and says, "I killed so many Crystal Scorpions at once, and I am sure that I will level up a lot." But even after a while, Sunraku does not level up. And then Sunraku checks his experience, and that too has not increased, because of which Sunraku thinks experience increases when the battle ends. And does this mean that all the Crystal Scorpions have not died, and the battle is not over? Then this Crystal Scorpion comes after Sunraku, but he is shivering, and suddenly he breaks, and Sunraku sees that in front of him, a very big golden Crystal Scorpion is standing, who is killing ordinary Crystal Scorpions. And looking at this, Sunraku thinks he is killing these Crystal Scorpions as if they are toys. And then this golden scorpion runs after Sunraku, and Sunraku thinks he is not attacking in groups like other Crystal Scorpions. And because of this, I will not be able to drop it from the cliff. And what should I do now? Should I hide in the inventory from this? No, I can't hide as a gamer. And then Sunraku runs away from this golden Crystal Scorpion and fights. But when Sunraku goes away, he throws poison from his dunk, but he is very skilled in close combat. But when Sunraku escapes his attack and goes away again, then he turns his dunk towards Sunraku. And looking at this, Sunraku thinks, if I keep an eye on his dunk, it is very easy to escape his poison. But this time, the Crystal Scorpion pours poison on Sunraku, and Sunraku can't dodge this attack. But at the right time, Sunraku comes to the inventory and escapes his poison. And looking at this attack of the Scorpion, Sunraku's condition gets worse. And Sunraku tells himself, I have to keep myself calm, because with this stress, my movements can get slower. And then Sunraku comes out of the inventory. He stands in front of the golden scorpion again and thinks, without going to the inventory, it is almost impossible to escape his poison rain. And then Sunraku is thinking while fighting the golden scorpion that he should somehow break his dunk so that he gets some advantage in this fight. Then Sunraku sees some gaps in the Crystal Scorpion's shield, and Sunraku decides to attack them and jumps high and changes his weapons, and says, now it's time to cut the poison from the poison, because these blades have such poison that things rot. And then Sunraku hits the gap of the Golden Scorpion's armor, which damages the Golden Scorpion. But the Golden Scorpion suddenly jumps and goes to a very high place. And then the Golden Scorpion stands up with his hands open, because of which it starts shining in the moonlight, and his wound heals. And Sunraku looks at it and thinks, it has such amazing combat skills, and apart from that, it can also heal itself. And while fighting it, I feel like I am fighting a colossus. And how can I be scared knowing this? That I am playing a god tier game, like Shangri-La Frontier, with which I can defeat Lega Khan. And this is not a colossus. And then they start fighting again, and Sunraku hits the gap of the Golden Scorpion's armor again, and he goes up again and heals himself. And seeing this, Sunraku thinks, I can't say this with acclaim, but it seems like the Golden Scorpion has to stand up in the moonlight with which it can heal itself. And if I remember about this, even to meet Satsuna, the moon was needed. And is there any special role of the moon in SLF? And the Golden Scorpion attacks Sunraku again, and Sunraku says, I have to find a way to stop it from healing itself. And then Sunraku hits the gap of the Golden Scorpion's armor again, and Sunraku's blade gets cracked. And Sunraku thinks, after fighting with Vatherman the Tomb Guard, I am fighting such a fierce battle today, and now it's fine. I will also put all my bets. And then Sunraku, with the help of his boundless massacre skill, slashes dozens at a time. But suddenly, the Golden Scorpion pours poison on Sunraku, but Sunraku teleports and goes to the inventory. But this time, Sunraku comes back quickly in front of the Golden Scorpion, but sees that the Golden Scorpion is healing itself again. And then Sunraku quickly throws a blade and hits, which goes straight and enters the Golden Scorpion's eye. Then Sunraku uses a skill to jump very high, and with the help of another skill, punches the same blade that was in the Golden Scorpion's eye, which makes the Golden Scorpion stand down. And then Sunraku joins his two moon blades, makes a big blade and jumps from above, and does a very powerful attack on its dung, which breaks the Golden Scorpion's dung. And then Sunraku jumps and grabs its dung, with which he can save it in the inventory. But after the dung breaks, the Golden Scorpion is very angry, and energy is coming out of it. But suddenly, a lot of crystal scorpions come there and surround Sunraku, with which Sunraku gets a very good idea in his mind. And then Sunraku uses his skate foot skill, starts running while skating from there, and thinks, when I saw the Golden Scorpion for the first time, then it was attacking the other scorpions. And this makes it clear that they are enemies. And if I gather them all together and go, then they will fight each other. And then Sunraku uses the blade of the Golden Scorpion in the other eye, teleports to the inventory. And then after Sunraku's departure, all the crystal scorpions start attacking the Golden Scorpion. And Sunraku is sure that with so many crystal scorpions will definitely kill a Golden Scorpion. And when Sunraku teleports back from the inventory and comes here, then he sees that the Golden Scorpion's hand is cut. And seeing this, Sunraku is very happy, because the Golden Scorpion is dead. But suddenly the Golden Scorpion attacks Sunraku from behind. Sunraku escapes the attack and says, you killed all the crystal scorpions alone, and forgive me that I thought you less. And now it seems that your death is written by my hands. And then Sunraku thinks while fighting, now I don't have so much mana that I can go back to the inventory, but I think I can win this fight. And then Sunraku jumps very high, and is about to do a very powerful attack on the crystal scorpion, that suddenly a lot of magical energy comes out of the crystal scorpion, which pushes Sunraku, and he goes back a little, because of which Sunraku throws a hand grenade towards the Golden Scorpion. And as soon as the Golden Scorpion presses that hand grenade with his claw, similarly, there is a big blast, and this blast cracks the Golden Scorpion's claw. And then Sunraku says, it seems that it's time to cut your claw. And then Sunraku goes ahead and does a powerful slash attack, which cuts the scorpion's claw and separates it. And then Sunraku jumps very high. By doing a powerful attack, Sunraku kills the Golden Scorpion. Then suddenly the Golden Scorpion hits Sunraku's blade with his cut tail, by which Sunraku's blade slips out of his hand and Sunraku is killed. And then Sunraku Sunraku thinks I don't have any weapon to finish the golden scorpion. And now what should I do? No, I have a weapon. And then Sunraku grabs those blades, which Sunraku had put in the eyes of the golden scorpion. Then Sunraku turns these blades in the eyes of the golden scorpion, and then he tears the golden scorpion's head. And then after the death of the golden scorpion, Sunraku says, I couldn't defeat you without the help of Inventoria, and you were really a very powerful enemy, like Vathermon. Then Sunraku's level goes straight from 79 to 99, and seeing so much level up, Sunraku also gets surprised and says, I had a lot of fun today, and really Shangri-La Frontier is the best game. Sunraku has returned to the city, and after fighting scorpions all night, Sunraku is very tired now. And while going towards Emul, Sunraku is thinking, I don't know what Black must be doing now and whether she must have become an ancient craftsman by now because she has to fix the non-standard ether reactor. Then Sunraku meets Emul where she had decided to meet. And then they go to Rabbit Zoo. And then the scene shifts, and because of defeating Sunraku's golden scorpion, Black is very excited, and she says that she never thought in her dreams that she would get to see the golden scorpion's den. Then Sunraku says, I have a lot more for you. Then Sunraku gives Black golden scorpion's items, but when Sunraku shows Black the golden scorpion's core, Black starts screaming in shock, and then Sunraku gives the golden scorpion's core to Black and says, you told me that you want a crystal scorpion's part, but isn't it better than that? Then Emil takes an item from Sunraku and says how cute it is, but Sunraku says it's a crystal scorpion's shit. After hearing this, Emil wakes up and Sunraku says, you know how much torture I have suffered after killing the golden scorpion, because I had to come to the city running from the crystal scorpion without using the inventory. And then Sunraku says to Black, Black, how is your work of becoming an ancient craftsman going on? But Black doesn't answer. And then even after Sunraku asking again and again, Black doesn't answer. But Sunraku feels that Black is dead, and Sunraku makes a lot of noise. Suddenly, Black slaps Sunraku on the face and drops him, because Black was not dead. He was just shocked that he had a golden scorpion's core in his hand. Then Black says, you don't have to worry, because I have become an ancient craftsman, and now I can handle things from the time of divinity. And then Black fixes Sunraku's non-standard ether reactor, which makes Sunraku very excited. And then Sunraku says, with their help, I will be able to wear the armor kept in. The Sunraku quickly goes to the inventory, but Black finds it a little strange to wear. And even after reaching the inventory, Sunraku is very excited and says, now I will wear this armor. But Sunraku remembers something about wearing the armor, and he looks at the Legacon's curse mark. Then Sunraku, very disappointed, comes back to Black and Amul. And Amul asks, Sunraku, what happened? And Sunraku says, I can't wear any armor because of the curse mark of Legacon. Black says, what you said about wearing armor, I found it very strange. And then we see a small flashback in which Sunraku tries to wear all the armor in the inventory, but can't wear anything. But Sunraku has a lot of trouble with the fact that because of this, Oikazo and Pencil Gun will be able to wear that armor. And then Sunraku says, Amul, now I have decided what I have to do, and I will hide from both of them, because without the non-standard ether reactor, neither of them can wear that armor. Black says, you are really a very bad person. Amul says, Sunraku, please come back soon. Sunraku says, as soon as my mental condition gets better, I will come back. Then the scene shifts. And now outside the Shangri-La Frontier, in the real world, Rei Saiga, who is a Saiga 0 in the game, Hizatami, that is, she is passing outside Sunraku's house. Suddenly Saiga stops outside Hizatami's house and starts looking at her window. Then she notices that 3 children are constantly staring at her, which makes Saiga a little shy and quickly runs away from there. And now Hizatami has also logged out of Shangri-La Frontier, but Hizatami's mood is still very bad because she doesn't wear armor, and she is constantly talking about it. Then Hizatami's younger sister says, what are you talking about? Hizatami says, suppose you like some clothes, and you started collecting money to buy them, but when you had the money, you found out that those clothes were of small children, and what will you do if this happens? The younger sister says, suppose if I make this mistake, I will wear some other clothes and forget about it. Hearing this, Hizatami gets an idea, and he shouts, I can do this. But by shouting like this, the younger sister's hand juice falls on his clothes, and she says, you ruined my clothes. Hizatami says, it's okay, you wear other clothes and forget about it. And then Sunraku logs into a game called Nephilim Hollow to fix his mood. And this game is not a trash game. And in this game, players enter big robots and fight, and they can also modify them according to their own. And then Sunraku sits on his robot and thinks that last time he was fighting top-ranking players so that his rank could be 1. But when Sunraku was fighting the number 1 player, Then his match was drawn. Then suddenly a player comes in front of Sunraku and says, "Sunraku, you finally came back and I am Super Ballman and I will beat you." And then Super Ballman challenges Sunraku to fight. But Sunraku doesn't recognize him. And then Super Ballman says, "Sunraku, it's me, Super Ballman, your biggest enemy." And then Sunraku says, "I played this game last time 3 months ago. And if I can't recognize you, then I must have defeated you very easily." And then Super Ballman says, "Sunraku, accept my challenge and see with your own eyes what the number 2 player can do." Sunraku also gets ready to fight and says, "Fighting number 2 is not bad to get back in form." And then both of them get into their robots and get ready to fight. Then Super Ballman shoots a laser at Sunraku. But Sunraku's robot is very fast, because of which Sunraku gets away from all his attacks very easily. And seeing Sunraku's speed, Super Ballman is also surprised, because Sunraku has modified his robot and made it super fast. But it has one drawback, that it can only fight for 3 minutes like this. Then Sunraku also attacks Super Ballman. But because of the lack of practice, Sunraku misses all the attacks. And suddenly Super Ballman punches Sunraku and presses him under the carpet. And then Super Ballman says, "You played well, Sunraku, because you broke my laser at the right time, but I have broken your wings." And now Sunraku is thinking under the carpet. "My robot has such a design that if even one part of it is injured, then the whole movement makes a difference." Then Super Ballman says, "How long will you be hidden under the carpet? And I will finish you there." Then Super Ballman runs towards Sunraku to attack Sunraku. But Sunraku shoots a laser at Super Ballman from inside the carpet. But Super Ballman dodges this attack very easily. And suddenly Sunraku jumps very high. And Super Ballman also jumps towards Sunraku to attack him. Then from below, Sunraku says, "You made a big mistake by considering Malwa your enemy." And now Sunraku is just below. And he just threw Malwa so that Super Ballman gets confused. And then Sunraku attacks Super Ballman with a laser, with which Super Ballman loses this fight. And then Sunraku is very happy to get out of his robot. Then Super Ballman says, "This is not fair, and you rematch it, because I will be the first person who will defeat the number 1 player, Rust." Then Rust comes here and says, "Your first match is over, and now it's my turn." Then Sunraku says, "I remembered that the player with whom I drew my match with great difficulty, and that player who is at number 1, that you are Rust." Now we are seeing a flashback in which Rust, who is the best player of Nephilim Hollow, sees his robot Crimson Twin Wing and says, "I am really tired of seeing it." Then suddenly, while running, Mordo comes here, who is Rust's assistant, and shows Rust that Sunraku is still fighting the Super Ballman. Seeing Sunraku fighting, Rust gets very excited and starts going straight to Sunraku. And in the present, Rust has reached to fight Sunraku and says, "Our last fight was a draw, but after that, why did you stop playing this game?" Sunraku says, "I don't know, because I don't pay attention to such small things, and it is possible that I have started playing some trash game." Hearing this, Rust gets angry that Sunraku has stopped playing this game for a trash game, so he stops playing this game, after which Rust challenges Sunraku to a fight. And Sunraku also repairs his robot and gets ready to fight. And the Super Ballman himself teleports to the audience area, where all the other players are standing. And here all the players are very excited to see Sunraku and Rust fighting, and the Super Ballman sees Mordo and says he's also doing his job. And as soon as the fight between Sunraku and Rust is announced, everyone starts screaming with enthusiasm. And Rust goes behind him to attack Sunraku, but Sunraku keeps shooting at him while avoiding Rust's attacks. But Rust also attacks Sunraku very easily while avoiding Sunraku's bullets. And these two keep fighting like this. And the audience is cheering to see their fight. And the Super Ballman thinks after seeing their fight, it won't be much to say that I want to defeat Rust and become the number 1 player. But I'm not such a good player right now that I can defeat him. But one day, I will definitely defeat Rust. And now you are the closest to defeating Rust, Sunraku, and go defeat Rust. And then Sunraku takes out his sword to make a final attack, and Rust and Sunraku move towards each other to finish each other. But Rust destroys Sunraku very easily, and this match is won. And then after the match is over, Sunraku sits on the ground, and Rust says to Sunraku in a lot of anger, "How can you die from such an easy attack? And you should take this fight seriously." Sunraku says, "Don't talk nonsense, because I have been playing this game for more than 3 months. That's why my controls are not very good in this game." Then Rust challenges Sunraku for a rematch. But when Sunraku refuses to rematch, then Rust gets very angry at Sunraku. And when Rust starts shouting at Sunraku, that's when Mordo comes and stops Rust and says, "Calm down, everyone is watching." And now a lot of players have come here, and they find it very strange to see Rust angry like this. And to handle the situation, Mordo says, "Forgive him. She was just a little excited. And to be honest, Sunraku, seeing you here, she is very happy." To keep Mordo quiet, Rust stabs stabs him in the stomach and sets him. And then Sunraku says, "If this is the case, tomorrow I will rematch you again." Hearing this, the players standing there are happy. And after Rust's departure, Sunraku says, "I don't know why, but she was using the same robot 3 months ago." Superballman says, "Rust has decided, until no one beats him. Until then, she will not make changes in her robot, and neither will she use a new robot." Sunraku says, "Does this mean that no one has beaten him since our last fight?" Superballman says, "Yes, that's right, and a lot of people challenged him, but no one lost." Sunraku says, "Okay then, I will keep playing this game until I beat Rust." Superballman says, "I will tell you the secret of Rust's power if you fight me again." Then in the next scene, we are told about the Nephilim Hollow game, and a long time ago, a lot of titans from the sky, that means robots, suddenly came, and they quickly destroyed half the world. But then humans, to fight the titans, invented a new technology, and with the help of this technology, humans can control the titans. And in today's world, all the players who are using the robot, they were actually titans. And in the present, Superballman and Sunraku sitting on a building, watching the titans going down because they want to catch a titan and make a new fighting robot. Then Sunraku sees a new type of titan, which Sunraku has never seen before. And when Sunraku asks, Superballman says, "This new type of robot has come after the update, and they have different types of abilities, but they have a lot of faults, and because of their faults, almost no one uses them here." Sunraku says, "I will make my fighting robot from this titan, because if no one uses them, then not everyone knows about their abilities." And then Sunraku attacks these titans, kills 2 titans very easily, and the 3rd titan captures it safely. Then in the next scene, Sunraku and Superballman reach the black market so that they can buy parts, with the help of which they can make that titan a fighting robot. Then 2 players come there and tell Sunraku that defeat the roost and go away from there. Then Sunraku asks Superballman, "Do all the players here hate the roost?" Superballman says, "It's not like that, but everyone here respects it, because of which we want that it should lose, because we all want to see the roost fighting with some other fighting robot." And then, while roaming in the market, Superballman asks Sunraku, "Have you understood how to defeat the roost?" Sunraku says, "Roost has to be defeated, and can't be defeated in the matter of game control, and you told me about that special thing of the roost, which is MODO, which was continuously telling the roost about my movements." And then suddenly Sunraku starts buying some parts and says, "To defeat the roost, I have an idea." Then the scene shifts, and today, there is going to be a fight between Roost and Sunraku, and many players are waiting for this fight to start. But till now, Sunraku has not reached here, and MODO2 is ready to monitor this fight. Then Sunraku reaches here in a brand new robot and says, "Excuse me, I am late, and don't you think my new robot is cool?" And the name of my new robot is Fiddler Crab. And MODO2, looking at the abilities and skills of Sunraku's robot, is thinking that his skills are not going to work on Roost. Then, why has he made such a robot? And Superballman says, "Modo, what do you think that you will understand Sunraku's trope very easily?" And then the fight between Sunraku and Roost starts, and just like last time, Sunraku escapes from Roost's attack and shoots him, and Modo too has understood that Sunraku has some trick. And then Sunraku escapes from Roost's attack and suddenly disappears, and Superballman says to some players he can disappear for a while if he doesn't attack. But in today's date, no player uses this disappearing skill because there is a big flaw in it. And now, while attacking Sunraku, Roost says, "With this disappearing skill, the player can hide his body, but can't hide the rocket boosters. And apart from this, from his shooting angle and looking at the dust, I can clearly see where he is." And then Roost, to finish Sunraku, does a very powerful attack. But Modo, looking at this fight, says, "Here, something is definitely strange, because Sunraku can't lose by making such easy mistakes." And Roost says to MODO, "After my attack, I didn't see any rocket boosters." Then MODO says, "Roost, run away from there quickly." And suddenly Sunraku comes very close to Roost, and with his claw, cuts off one of his hands and wings. And here, all the players are very surprised. Then Sunraku says, "I thought I would kill you, but you saved yourself from my attack at the right time." And Rust asks Mordo, "What did Sunraku do that he suddenly came so close to me?" Mordo quickly checks the details and tells, Sunraku had converted his legs into anti-gravity legs, because of which he suddenly came close to you. And these legs can be used in 2 ways. But there is a shortcoming in these legs that they take a lot of energy, and the player's movement also slows down. This update was added only 2 weeks ago in the game, and due to a lot of shortcomings in these legs, no one uses them. And this is the first time for us that when we are facing fixing it. And Rust, forgive me, because I should have noticed all these things before. Then Sunraku says, Rust, what will you do now? And saying this, Sunraku disappears, and now Mordo is not able to handle so much new information at once, and he says to Rust, Rust, go as far as you can, because after Sunraku's energy is used, he will start to appear again, and then you attack him. But Rust doesn't listen to Mordo, and to fight Sunraku, she jumps from the building and lands on the ground, and Sunraku, who is now invisible, says, it's good that you are not choosing a boring path, and I knew you would do this. Rust says, Sunraku, don't make the mistake of underestimating me, because as soon as you come into attack mode, you will start to appear, and I'm just waiting for that moment. Then, as soon as Sunraku is about to attack, he starts to appear, and as soon as his eyes blink, Rust cuts off one of his hands, and this hand is the same hand in which Sunraku's main weapon is. And after seeing such a great fight, the audience is also getting very excited, and Sunraku says, Rust, you did a great counterattack, but I got what I wanted, and now I will show you my trump card. Then Mordo shouts, Rust, run away from there. He's going to set you up, and Sunraku sets up Rust, and Rust says, this is your trump card. And seeing this, I really feel that you underestimated me, Sunraku. And looking at their fight, Superballman remembers that Sunraku had told him, my trump card will decide whether I win or lose against Rust. But the problem is that Rust is very fast. But if I break one of Rust's 2 boosters, then it will move to the place where I want. And now in the present, Rust dodges Sunraku's trap. That's when she sees that Sunraku has come in front of her. And Sunraku says, I have one more very powerful weapon. That's when Sunraku removes the top part of his robot. And there are 2 Aryans there. And then Rust and Sunraku have a fierce fight. Seeing this, everyone's mouth is left open, and in this chaos, Sunraku is continuously cutting Rust, and Rust has also crossed the limits of Sunraku's robot with his sword. Then Sunraku says, when a heavy robot and a lightweight robot have a double knockout, then it is clear who will win. That's when Rust's robot is destroyed, and Sunraku wins this fight. And after winning Sunraku's match, all the players who are watching this match are very happy, because now they will get a chance to see Rust fighting in a new robot. And Mordo says, processing so many things in such a short time was impossible for me. And after winning this match, Sunraku is very happy. But Rust says to Sunraku in anger, I agree that you have defeated my robot, but our score is not even, because we both win one fight, lose one, and draw one. And until we don't fight one more time, our score will not be even. Sunraku says, I have got what I wanted, and now I am going to play my main game again. Rust says, what do you mean by main game? And are you going to stop playing this game again? Sunraku says, yes, I won't play this game for a while, but I promise that I will log in again. That's when the rest of the players come here. And Mordo says, Sunraku, after you came here, this game has gained new life. And I am sure that if you keep logging in, then this place will become very exciting. Hearing this, Sunraku gets into thinking, what should he do? And suddenly, Rust gets angry, and he grabs Sunraku's neck and says, it would be good for you to log into this game daily. Sunraku gets a little upset, and he says, calm down. And I am just playing this game to calm myself down, because I can't use robots in SLF. Hearing this, Rust says, what do you mean by robots in SLF? Because even I used to play Shangri-La Frontier, but I didn't see any robots there. But if there are robots in SLF, then we should make a deal. And if you give me information about robots, I will give you information about a unique monster named Katarnet of the Abyss, with which you can reach the unique monster. And then Sunraku, Rust, and Mordo, to talk about this, come up to a building away from the rest of the players. Then Mordo says, so let's start our deal. And we have information about the unique monster, and you have information about the robots. And if you want, we can share this information. But hearing this, Sunraku is thinking that even if the professor doesn't know about the unique monster named Katarnet of the Abyss, then how can he know how to get to it? And then Sunraku says, I didn't expect to hear about the unique monster in this game. Listening to Sunraku, Rust says, do you mean to say that you don't trust us? Sunraku says, I don't doubt you. And I'm just saying that the unique scenario of reaching the unique monster is very complicated. And until I don't believe that the information you have is useful to me, I can't give you information about my side. Rust says, so you want us to give you information first? Sunraku says, the robots and scientific equipments I have are not only mine, but also a part of the other 2 people, so I can't tell you anything without their permission. Then Rust says, Mordo tells Sunraku in detail about a unique scenario called Pierce the Disciple of the Abyss. But Mordo and Rust didn't complete that unique scenario because Rust didn't find any robots there, which made him bored. Then Sunraku says, your information is useless. useful, but there is one drawback in it, that in the name of a unique scenario in which X is written, that unique scenario takes us to the unique monster. And as far as Pierce the Disciple of the Abyss, we can reach the X unique scenario. Rust says, so you want to say that if we had completed Pierce the Disciple of the Abyss, we would have reached the X unique scenario. Sunraku says, yes, and I will help you complete this unique scenario. Then Mordo says, it felt good to hear this, and to do this, we should meet in the 5th town. Then Rust says, Sunraku, are you really going to stop playing Nephilim Hollow? Sunraku says, Rust, I heard that until you don't lose, you are not going to use another robot. So when you make your next robot, I will definitely fight you again. Hearing this from Sunraku, Rust smiles and says, if so, let's fight now. And Rust brings his second robot here. And seeing this, Sunraku's condition gets worse. And Sunraku says, why did you make another robot earlier? And now the rest of the players are also looking for Sunraku and Rust. Then they see that there is another robot standing in front of Sunraku's robot. Seeing this, they understand that this new robot is definitely Rust's new robot. And the next moment, a lot of players come here. And Sunraku says, I thought I would leave here peacefully, but I can't stop myself from fighting by seeing a powerful opponent. And at this time, there is a commotion downstairs, and the players who are here are calling the rest of the players here by informing them as soon as possible, so that they don't miss the fight. And then again, Rust and Sunraku's fight begins. Then in the next scene, Sunraku logs out of Nephilim Hollow, and his mood has improved a lot by playing this game. And then Sunraku goes to sleep. Then the scene shifts, and in Shangri-La Frontier game, Amul is getting bored sitting because he is missing Sunraku. Then Amul's elder brother Sikru comes here, and he is a samurai. And seeing this, Amul's mood improves a lot. Then Sikru says, Amul, it was nice to see you. And do you know where my father can be? Amul says, I don't know that either. And do you need his help? Sikru says, I met a wonderful person near Sigwom, the Golden Dragon King. Amul says, is there really another wonderful player like Sunraku? Then Sikru calls that player here, and that player comes here and takes off his mask and says, Amul, it was nice to meet you, and my name is Akane Akitsu.
For more exciting episodes, subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.